Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a nurse working in Birmingham CAMH and the Youth Offending Service. And I did a piece of work with young people who we've seen in the youth offending team to try and engage them. And the thing they said was about stigma. And I went to a workshop this morning with young people and they said it was about stigma, putting them off engaging. So I'm just wondering about picking your brains, because I see young people who are in the youth offending team there because they've committed an offence, but there because they might have some emotional and mental health problems, and their youth offending worker goes, why don't you see this mad mental health nurse? But, you know, and it's kind of, how do you engage? What would it be helpful from your experience for me to explain my role and help address that stigma and engage people?
Don't use the term mental health.
How do we, yeah, when I did the project with young people, we made a leaflet and we didn't put mental health on it, but there's no way of getting around that because that's in the letters.
That's loud. Emotional well-being is what sort of we use. It doesn't sound as scary and sounds more friendly.
The other thing, I mean, certainly with recruiting people to come on the Youth Link programmes, we have found actually young people sharing the information amongst themselves. So helping some young people to become your champions is a really useful way forward. The leadership programme is all about that, and it came really very much from young people saying that they wanted to be able to share their experiences with other young people. They wanted to become involved in, one big theme was helping to prevent other young people going through the difficulties they'd experienced themselves. And so in a way, the whole thing about how do we improve the experience, I think actually if you can hear from other young people makes it so much more powerful.
Thank you.
Charlotte?
No, I was just going to say that, like Sarah, with the rethink, because we've already done the rethink, we're going back as peer-to-peer supports for people that haven't done it, so they'll be like really scared and just need someone that's maybe not an adult and they might not want to talk to them. We're going in for them to be able to talk to us, because it might always sometimes be easier to talk to someone of their own age.
Are there things that you recognise, well, I wouldn't as a young person have thought about that, or I didn't really think about my problems in that way? Were there things that you weren't sure, but once you had them, you thought, well, actually, that was quite helpful?
Yeah, there was a Trevor kept going about go to youth group. My idea was like it's going to be like a few like chavs. What? And I went and I was like really surprised. Like I was like my best mate now. I'm in there and like met some cool. I knew, yeah. Met some really cool people who like it. Yeah.
Mine was seeing my counsellor when they said, like, we think it's best if you see a counsellor. I was like, I'm not seeing no one. Not when it sounds that scary, but like, I'm lost without her now when I can't talk to her. It's you bottle things up more when you haven't got someone to talk to, because you gain the bond with them. It's like I would never have thought that, say, 18 months ago I'd have been saying, yeah, I'm going to go see a counsellor and I'm going to do this, but it's just completely something that I wouldn't have even thought of doing. But now I'd be lost.
I've kind of learned that it's normal. It's not in a bad way. I mean, normal to be mentally. Like before I joined it up with that youth group, I thought what I'm doing is totally wrong. You know, going around going, rah, you know what I mean, something like that. But it's kind of normal because me and Eamon have that kind of mentality, and sometimes we get down, so we do silly things. You know, it's just you feel more yourself when you know people who've got the same kind of background as you. So it's okay to be a bit mental sometimes. Let yourself out.
I do think the other thing that is striking, though, when you talk to many of the young people who've been through Youth Link, is actually the lack of information has been one of the biggest problems for them. It's meant that they have felt very, very uncertain about what might be available. And even when we've been working in programmes and really trying to work out how to get local information about what's available, there's still a real problem. It's generally difficult to access information that's young person friendly and clear, and I think that puts a lot of people off.
Paula Wilman from Stoke-on-Trent. I'm quite interested in the friends that you've made during the activities and the stuff that you've been doing. Do you sort of see them separate to your your old friends, you know, or do you socialise with both? And also, do you think you'll keep in touch with those new friends? I'm just sort of interested in what happens next, really.
Yeah, I think I'll keep in touch because I only moved to Derby about 2 years ago as well. So I didn't know anyone, so it gave me a bit like the social circle straight away. And I do see the mates I've made there are probably mates for life.
Yeah, I love you too, Eamon. Oh dear, I needed that.
I mean, I would say, in answer to your question, please, the peer social element of it has been absolutely key, because a lot of the young people really were very isolated, and that, to some extent, was fueled by their worries about actually talking about the difficulties they were having. They'd got nobody to check it out with, so they were much more convinced that they were the only one with those problems. And we've got so many statements from young people about, I thought I was the only person who had this difficulty, I thought I was going to get locked up. These sorts of statements that had just meant that they had completely withdrawn, disengaged from services, or were at risk of disengaging because they felt so isolated. And actually hearing from other young people, and we've had quite a few sessions where we've brought in people who are completely the other end of the journey, who are back in work and employed, and have said, you can recover, you can make this journey. I mean, it has really been far more powerful than anything I can say or Sarah can say, to actually have people, you know, who will share that. But I don't think any of us appreciate just how many young people are so totally isolated. You think they're in school or college or LinkedIn, but they're not. And even if they're attending, they're not actually in a group. They're on the outskirts. And what we've seen is that by providing those sorts of group experiences, you can really build the confidence and you can start to break those barriers down.
Another thing is, with the friends that you make on the course, if you feel really down and you're sort of having one of those days, and you see sort of someone that you met through here, they sort of know not to keep pressuring you about what's the matter, what's up with you, and they pretty much, everything's not out in the open, but everyone knows that we've all had our own issues. So you know that if you're being grumpy or just not in the mood to talk to someone, they know just to back off and leave you alone and just sort of smile at you every now and again. So it's like, with some of my friends that I don't know through here, they get really offended when I'm having a down day, and so, but with these people, they know just to leave you alone.